Hey guys, this is what happened to American tennis part 3. If you missed part 1 and part 2, you can go on my main channel. Those videos are linked in the description below. But I'm here to report that American tennis is doing a lot better than when I made those videos. Those videos were made a while ago. We didn't have a Korda. Opelka wasn't at the level he is now. And it was a very kind of gloom and doom situation for American tennis. And I want to just clarify that I'm talking about men's tennis. Women's tennis was at a great level back when I made those videos, and women's tennis is still doing well. There's a few less players in the top 100. There's only 11 now. There was 18, I believe, back when I made the first 2 videos. So there's a little bit less players in the top 100, but still the United States has the most female players in the top 100. But today's video is about what happened to American tennis on the male side, and I have to tell you that the situation has improved a lot. So there's 3 players that are doing incredibly well, and I'm very excited about the future, and that is Taylor Fritz, who just won Indian Wells. He's ranked 13 in the world. That's amazing. But also Korda, in my opinion, a super talented player. The way he was playing against Nadal in Indian Wells, if he can play like that, I don't see why he wouldn't be able to make it into the top 10. And then, to my surprise, Riley Opelka is doing phenomenally well. I did not think he was gonna have a career that he's having right now. People back in those days were saying that he might be better than John Isner because they're very similar players. And I had my doubts because I think John Isner is a fantastic player. He just won back-to-back doubles titles, Indian Wells in Miami. And I had my doubts that Opelka was gonna be better than Isner, but now I do see it. I think Opelka not only has that amazing serve, but he's also an incredible mover and has that type of game where he can do a lot of damage. So those 3 players, in my opinion, are top 10 caliber players. And also the United States now is number 1 in the world with the amount of players that they have in the top 100, and that is 12. So both the men and the women have the most amount of players in the top 100 in the world. And that's how it used to be way back in the day, and that is how it is now, and that is what's supposed to be like, because let's face it, the United States is by far the best place to play tennis. We have the good weather, we have the most courts out of anywhere in the world, and with all these opportunities here, the United States deservedly should be always at number 1. However, I will stick to my points that I made in the first 2 videos. There is still a problem, and the problem is that tennis overall in the top 100, whether we're talking about the Pro Tour or Division I college, both on the men and the women's side, is still dominated by Europeans. And why that is the case, I explained many times. I explained that in my latest Soften video. I also explained it in my 2 previous What Happened to American Tennis videos. That is a problem that is still there because I don't think that 12 players in the top 100 is enough. I think it should be the way it was back in the day when we had 30 or 40 Americans in the top 100. And I think part of the reason why the transition from the junior circuit onto the adult circuit on the male side is something that's a lot better in Europe, and that's something that's not optimal in the United States. Of course, you're gonna ask me, how about Opelka, Fritz, how about these guys who are breaking through even though they didn't grow up in Europe? Of course, you're gonna have great players, they're gonna break through regardless. But I'm talking more at a grander scale. I'm talking more about trying to get into a Division I college. This is where in the United States it's more tricky compared to Europe, because the transition from the junior circuit to the adult circuit is still a problem in the United States, and it needs to be solved. In my first 2 videos about the state of American tennis, I made the point that tennis courts were empty. This is something that I was observing in Florida, and I was being honest with you guys. And at the same time, pickleball was blowing up. But I have to tell you that maybe in the last year or so, tennis is becoming more and more popular. I'm seeing courts packed. In Florida, you gotta remember, it's super hot here between the hours of 11 o'clock to 4 o'clock. It's super hot. Usually people don't play. But I have to tell you, in the last year or so, I have seen people play tennis at all times during the day, and this is a great sign. American tennis is definitely getting more popular, even at the recreational level.